Sai Ram, everyone. Last week we were reading, I think we were almost coming to the end of chapter 3, where Swami is talking about what it would be for a person who has mastered the sadhana of dhyana. He says none of the antics of the body or anything related to the world will not affect us in any way. We will not be suffering from any ambitions and cravings and so on. And then Swami goes on to also tell us what are the things which we should work on, like the control of the senses. The mind should be controlled. There should not be any thoughts. And then he says, vicharam, we should always, through the path of inquiry, we can make progress. And he says, if nothing works, the japam of the name of the Lord will help us overcome the thoughts in the mind. And only when the mind is fully quelled, the thoughts are quelled, then we really achieve that state which we are all traveling towards. So those were the thoughts, and I think there were a few other questions which came up, and we discussed a few points. But I think Swami is still continuing on the same theme, so I think we can continue to read the next set of paragraphs. Mr. Kalyani or Dushi?
Sorry. Sairam. Once the individual GV is on the way toward the goal, the individual will derive full contentment from themselves and discover within themselves the source of bliss. The cravings and ambitions, delusions and falsehoods and animal needs and antiques that were worrying the individual till then all vanish. Since the Atma pervades all, equally and steadily, the individual all loses the I-ness and gets immersed in its inherent divine status. Such a person is a real great soul, Mahatma, a liberated soul, Jivan Mukta. Fullness is bliss, Ananda. Bliss is peace, Shanti. Those who do not give up the path of discrimination, Vichara Marga, receive the grace of the Lord, and they also realize the Atma. They will always be seeking the eternal truth that lies behind the dream-like illusions of this world. Control the senses, jnanendriyas, which run helter-skelter. Then the origins of the disease will be destroyed. Let the mind keep a watch over its gymnastics. Dam up the mad flood of thoughts and plans and schemes. Then there will be no room for worries and anxieties in the mind. To diminish the wandering of the thoughts, repeat the name of the Lord. That will keep out your sorrows and troubles. Without the effacement of the mind, spiritual wisdom, jnana, cannot dawn. The full person is one who has succeeded in this.
Thank you very much.
Sairam. Welcome.
So we had read this and discussed. So I don't think there's much for me to say here, because most of these concepts we had discussed. So if anyone has something to share, please go ahead. I think if it's okay, we can just move forward, Sister Kalyani.
Gain inward vision. The spiritual aspirant must first learn the secret of the inward sight, the vision directed inward, and take the attention away from the exterior. You have heard so far little about the inner world, but divine life is nothing but this method of inward living. Just as the baby, after learning to watch and understands, tries to toddle here and there at home, so also the spiritual aspirant learns to toddle in the inner world and understands it. A healthy baby in the cradle waves its arms and legs in glee and lips in joy, watching the lamp on the wall. Similarly, the spiritual aspirant, also healthy in body, mind, and soul, lying in the cradle of life, watches the inner world and claps the hands ceaselessly in great glee at that inner joy. This has to be done. Besides, every thought, every word, every deed has to proceed from the full consciousness of knowledge. Direct your intelligence not to wander about, but to dwell constantly in the inner world. This is the inward quest. Antavimarsha and meditation, dhyana, is the most important instrument needed for this. The spiritual aspirant can enter the inner quest through the gate of self-examination. The gate accords welcome into the highest and holiest status possible in life to every aspirant who is endowed with humility and devotion.
Thank you very much, sister. So, Swami is again speaking about, I guess, the goal of meditation or dhyana. He's saying that's developing the inner sight. He says dhyana is the only instrument, the most important instrument through which we can attain the state of existing or living within or inwardly. I think inwardly is a better word. So Swami is talking about the importance of developing this vision towards the inner living or inward living. Just like a child is joyous by looking at various things in life, the same way we also should develop that joy just by looking within. Swami says. So I will stop here, pause here, and I will ask anyone else to share your thoughts, please, Saira.
So, Sairam, brother. So here, the first line, the vision directed inward. That means our senses always goes outwardly. So we have to change the senses towards inwardly. That is the only way we can control the mind. So we can, once we move inwardly, then we can exercise or we can enjoy the power or the meditation. So otherwise, if the mind goes towards the outwardly, so that means we cannot control the mind. That's my understanding, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please?
Sairam, I have a question, brother. So I've heard about having your thoughts in words, but why is Swami mentioning in the second paragraph about intelligence? Intelligence. He said every thought, word, and deed has to proceed from the full consciousness of knowledge. And your intelligence has to wander constantly in the inner world. Why is the intelligence part? What does he mean, Saira?
I'll just look up the exact word in Telugu. If anyone has something to say, please share your thoughts.
So before you're doing anything, you have to use the bhakti, whether it is going to be useful for my liberation or not. So that is the thing. We have intellect. So you differentiate whether it is good or bad. If it is good, take it. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to? So the word Swami uses is Ni buddhini antar prapanchamunu kanupinchu sa paradharuluga niyaminchunu. It's not there. Okay. So Swami is using the word buddhi. So you are asking, that's, I think that has been translated as intelligence in this case. Adiye antar vimarsha. That's what Swami says. That's what Swami calls it, antar vimarsha. So I think, sister, this is my understanding. Mind has the tendency to go out, and Swami has already told in the previous paragraphs, the mind should come to rest. It should not have any thoughts. And once that happens, the buddhi should actually focus on the Atman, or inside, towards inner world, Swami says. Because buddhi is the only one which has access to the inner world as well as the mind. And so you can also say buddhi is that conscience or consciousness in us that has to be directed inwards, is what I understand. And that is what Swami calls the meditation is basically the process of stilling the mind and turning it inwards so that it does not go out. And then the buddhi will not be busy with the world. The buddhi now is free to focus on the inner world, which is the Atman. Think about what that Atman is. That is my understanding, because the mind itself is incapable of visualizing or even understanding that principle which is within us. But buddhi is the only one which is capable of looking at the Atman. That's my understanding. So I will ask anyone else to comment, please, Saira.
Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, for me, in my understanding, I think Brother Thasan and Brother Aruno, whatever said, that is correct. Even I didn't, maybe in my mind, maybe I have thought about, Swami says, direct your intelligence not to wander about, but to dwell constantly in the inner world. In the understanding, in the plain language, I understood that the direct your intelligence towards the inner world. Don't make it wander out in the outer world. That's what I get it from that sentence. Maybe Sister Dushi's point, I also thought, why Swami thought Swami told intelligence. The word intelligence he would have used instead. Maybe if it is a mind or something else, it could be more appropriate than the word intelligence. That is the question. Do she use your focus is on the word of intelligence or something else in that sentence?
Yes, sister. I was wondering why the word intelligence.
Yeah, your doubt or it's valid because the word intelligence, the intelligence maybe in this context, simply it could I thought it could be mind too, the maybe in simple terminology, maybe you don't want your mind the outwardly, maybe put everything to inwardly, that could it mean. But your question is valid. The wise Swami used intelligence. Maybe in other contexts we have used intelligence in different meaning, but in this one maybe I thought just this intelligence, it could mean just mind. That's my view, my understanding on this one. Thank you, Saira.
Saira, that's very good. As Brother Aruna explained, and Thasan everybody explained, that the better word could have been intellect. So intellect stands for buddhi, but in Telugu it was buddhi. So buddhi means intellect, which is just finer than the mind, which is next to Atma. The closest Prakriti, the very closest Prakriti to Atma is intellect, which is a part of mind actually, the subtler, but subtler than the mind. So Anandi's arguments, everything totally correct. So direct your intellect towards the inner world, not outer world. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. I think this makes sense. Thank you, Sarah.
Just a question on this as well. Like in our experience and how we experience the world and life, like it's easy to understand directing your mind towards something or trying to focus your mind on something. But how do you focus how do you make use of your buddhi or direct your buddhi?
So that's okay, brother, go ahead with us.
So Sairam brother, it's my thought. Everyone's supposed to understand the knowledge that that discrimination, whatever we studied last time, and the detachment and the vairagya. The vairagya means I am not the body, I am the Atma. That the first one is the discrimination, whatever Brother Sivoda said, that discriminate that all the Prakriti. So once you know the thing, once you have the understanding, the knowledge, so you can control the mind. So always think about, okay, I'm not supposed to be attached. You can be enjoy the things, but not to attach to not to attach to the world with things. You have to understand these 2 points, then you can control the mind. Thank you, Saira.
Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please?
Okay, Kalyani, can you rephrase it short? Actually, a good point.
I was just asking, in our daily experience of like I know how to think, I can experience my thoughts, and I know this is my mind, and I can try to direct my mind onto something, but I don't really know how to direct my buddhi, or how do I direct my buddhi towards something.
Exactly. When I read that sentence, I also thought, we can direct our mind just Kalyani said, how to direct our buddhi. Buddhi, in my understanding, that is always it would do the right thing, or it's hard to direct the buddhi. The mind we can direct. Okay, stop it, or we can say something, but the buddhi or the intelligence, directing the intelligence, I thought up until now maybe it's out of our the day-to-day control. That's why in my original statement, I understood that this intelligence is more of the mind thing rather than the intellect. But there is a way to direct the intelligence. Maybe we don't understand. That could be the case too. Maybe up to the knowledge we have, maybe the knowledge we have may not be able to direct the intelligence we have it. Maybe some people, maybe sages, or maybe higher level spiritual people, they may be able to direct their intelligence too. That's a really good question. How to direct our intelligence in our day-to-day life. Mind we can direct, but the intelligence.
Okay, I will attempt to answer this question. It's a very good question, actually. See, our mind is comprised of four parts. The greater mind, I should call it. Okay, the greater mind has four functions. One is manas, buddhi, chitta, and ahamkaram. All these are actually things which happen in our greater mind. Ahamkaram means things, something belongs to me, I want. All that is coming from ahamkaram. Chittam is all memory. We will think about something which happened in the past, or that experience was nice, or that experience was not so nice. Those thoughts come from what's called chittam. It's all memory based. Mind has this function of, as soon as it observes something, it wants it. It just goes and attaches itself. So mind is the main perceiver of input from the indriyas, or the senses. So it is a receiver of all input from this world. And that is the one which triggers all thoughts. Then comes buddhi. Buddhi also is a mental function, but what it does is it weighs the pros and cons. If you do this, it's good. If you do this, it's bad. That is also a mental function, but that job is to evaluate. Okay. But what happens is, so that's also a mental function, we should understand. But what happens is, Swami differentiates that buddhi is function into two categories. The buddhi which is pulled by the mind functions with what is called individual discrimination. The buddhi which is focused on the Lord inwardly functions with what something called fundamental discrimination. So you will ask me, discrimination or fundamental buddhi, fundamental intelligence, whatever you want to call it. Let me talk about the individual intelligence. For example, we are going to go buy something. So the mind will work. Okay, if you do this, you'll save more money. If you do this, it's more healthy for you. If buddhi is always weighing the pros and cons related to ourselves, individual, selfish desire. You go and buy something, you want to spend less, make more money, make more profit. Then it will say, oh, go and study this. This is a good subject to study. All that, but it's all worldly related to a selfish progress. So buddhi is generally used by all human beings like that. That is why this word intelligence also used. That fellow is so intelligent, he fooled everyone else. That ability to evaluate the pros and cons and plot to succeed is the function of the buddhi. Mind will say, I want that. It's like a child. Or I want to go after that. That is the tendency of the mind. But the buddhi is the one which is behind. It will say, do this. It is working on stratagems. If you do this, the ahamkaram you will gain. Okay, that is called selfish discrimination or selfish buddhi or individual discrimination. Fundamental discrimination means which is beneficial for everyone in this world. Okay, this is what is permanent. Everyone will benefit, not the individual self. Once the mind and the senses are active and the buddhi runs up, helps them, then the buddhi is used from a selfish perspective. But when the mind and the senses are all controlled and kept in check, then the buddhi is free to work with Atman, and that is sometimes comes out as what's called conscience. You will not want to harm. For example, if you're a businessman, if your buddhi is so selfish, you will cheat somebody and become rich. But conscience is discarded, because conscience is that which reflects the inner light, the Atmic light, which is think about the benefit for everyone in this world. So that is called fundamental discrimination. So our buddhi is also tainted when the mind is disturbed. Okay, so once the mind is calm, then the buddhi can function, taking only that Atmic knowledge and work for the welfare of everyone in this world, if at all you are going to work. Otherwise, the buddhi just is just immersed in, because as you can see, among all these faculties, buddhi is the only one which is able to channel the divine light. Ahankara will say, I want. Chittam is telling what something happened in the past. Mind is running after behind the senses. But the buddhi is the one which is actually able to channel some of the inner light. So that is the subtlest, that's the closest to the Atman, and that should be turned inwards. And when that is turned inwards and that becomes very, very powerful, then it exerts control over the mind, it exerts control over the senses. But without that connection of the buddhi with God or Atman or Parabrahman, we will lose that. So that is what Swami is talking about. I hope I was able to. So there are many discourses, Swami. If anyone wants, I can share them, where Swami has talked about individual discrimination versus fundamental discrimination. I'm just using English terms here, but I hope that answers your question. How buddhi should focus on the Atman or the inner world. I hope so. Sai.
Thank you, Sairam. That explains it. I just had another question, if there are no other questions. In the last paragraph, the spiritual aspirant can enter the inner quest through the gate of self-examination. So is there, what is meant by self-examination?
I will ask someone. I think Brother Sivadas, someone can talk about Atma Vichara or something.
Yeah, self-exam. Actually, what brother already discussed comes here in self-examination also, but plus self-analysis. We call it self-analysis in the common parlance. So to think about whether my thinking is correct, is it selfish, is it projecting jealousy? So I have to examine my thoughts, my thoughts. Yeah. So my thoughts could be very bad. It could be very bad also. So self-examination. So the inquiry. So when we do this self-analysis about how I project my thoughts, and that will lead to the inner gate. So the can enter the inner quest through the So that gate accords welcome into the highest and holiest status possible in life to every aspirant who is endowed with humility and devotion. So for the spiritual aspirant who is humble and devoted, can easily contemplate on the divine inside, which is the basis of his existence. So will come the highest. So the highest and holiest status possible is that the contemplating fully on the Atma, which is inside, shining with effulgence. Okay, that's what I could think about it here. Thank you, Zaya.
Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please?
Thank you for the explanation. So I guess we can start with just contemplating on ourselves and our thoughts and actions and identifying, you know, what may be bad and trying to correct that.
Yeah.
I think, Arun uncle, you said self-examination. You used the word Atma Vichara.
Yeah, so it's also knowing, see, everything stems from the fact identifying with Atman, you know, I am the Atman. So then once you know that you are Atman, every thought which comes should be examined against that. Am I functioning from the position of Atman, or am I functioning from the position of this body, the mind and the senses? So that evaluation has to happen within the buddhi. Buddhi is the, you know, final, you know, like a judge. We will say, you know, you are trying to tend towards the mind. This is a selfish desire. This is an atmic thought. You know, so it will be able to separate both. So that is a continuous evaluation which all of us have to go through. That's what I said. You know, so that evaluation should be based on Atman and the body. Okay, so is it related to the body or is it related to the Atman? So that evaluation happens. You know, that's, so you ask the question. You know, we have to reflect. It's called self-reflection, or, you know, whatever. Without that, we should not function. And then buddhi will be strengthened, and then the buddhi will be completely immersed in the thought of Atman through that process. See, through that process, we will continuously think of the Atman, which is nothing but, you see, we can even ask the question, will Swami want us to do this? That is the best we can do. You know, we don't know what Atman is. At least we can ask, will Swami be pleased with this? Will Swami do this? You know, so those are questions we could ask. And Saira, that's what I said. Okay, anyone else can also share your thoughts, Saira.
Sairam, brother, that self-examination, it comes from Atma Vishara, as well as in our words, thoughts, and deeds. Also, we have to analyze it, whether that's right or wrong. Every action, every thought, every word, we have to do the self-check, kind of. I think that's other things we can do too. Thanks, Saira.
Saira, sister, thank you.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks. There's a word, inner quest. The inner quest, that is what we say inquiry. I think this is a matter of words here, but thing is direct. That is, we have to watch our thoughts, whether it is selfish and going outward or going inward. And so we have to, we have to separate the bad thoughts and keep it out, and take the good, turn it on the Atma, meditate. So in that way, we will reach the highest and holiest status. Thank you, Sarah.
I also thought about the usage of the word self-examination. Maybe the more appropriate word, just like Brother Sivadas said, self-assessment. Examination, always it will be done by someone else. Assessment, it could be done by yourself, that is the difference. Maybe far back I studied what is the difference between the assessment and the examination. When we say examination, you know, the more of it would be done, examined by someone else. Assessment, it could be, assessment can be done by others as well as by yours too. In this context, maybe the self-assessment, it could be more appropriate word, you know, rather than self-examination. You know, in an inquiry, always it could be done only by us. I know there is another word also, specific word for the self-assessment in the for the spiritual aspirant. It didn't click into my mind, but in that particular thing, they said self-assessment. They didn't say self-examination, it's a self-assessment. Thank you, Sairam. I just wanted to share with you.
Thank you very much, sister. I did a search for.
I guess Arun Aunty's speaking, but you're on mute.
Okay, sorry about that. No, what I take from here is a self-examination, self-assessment. It's not just one thing. I think it's associated with that. It's just not only the Atma Vichara and it's a words, thoughts, and deeds. Then I think there is I concept, see divinity in others. So there are so many into the self-examination. I think it's not only few things, just my thought. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, sister, because Swami has used the word Atma Vimarsha. So I looked up the word Vimarsha and tried to see the meaning, and I just read out. Consideration, deliberation, investigation, examination, scrutiny, search, research, review, trial, inquiry. So
good. Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's not one thing. Yeah, thanks.
See, in Tamil also, I think everyone is Tamil here today. Vimarsanam, they will say.
Yeah.
For example, critical examination also is, somebody will do a vimarshana. It means this is what it is. So I hope.
Yeah, Swiya Vimarsana. Swiya Vimarsana. Swiya Vimarsana. So it is self-analysis, the direct common word that used in everywhere. So that's the thing. Actually, watching my thoughts, I am selfish, I am jealous. It could be jealous, and jealous is very difficult to get over it. Swami Vivekananda admitted it. So my mind may be thinking of jealousy. So I am thinking whether I am a good person or bad person. That is self-examination. I am examining myself whether I am thinking correctly or I am eligible for divine status. So if it is my mind is very bad, then I have to try to eliminate it through some way or other. No? So that is what very important. So when I am made pure, then concentration on God, meditation becomes easy. No thoughts can come in the meditation. So the more we self-examine ourselves, and the more we get rid of our bad tendencies, the more concentrated we are during the meditation. So to say, sorry, thank you, Sarah.
So, brother, then self-examination, then when you are meditating, you can say my mind is not controlling. Then ask yourself where the mind is going. So if you have anything bad attitude or desire or something like that, so try to get rid of that one. So in that way, and whatever you're doing, everything you self-examine everything, whether it's right path or not path, whatever you said, Atma, uh, whatever that. So always you have to ask yourself questions. End of the day, you have to surrender everything to the Lord. So once you think, if you are surrendering everything, then the path going to be correct. Whether even normally when we are eating food, we just pray food. So that means anything, when you are thinking, when you are doing any works, God's work, you're going to, end of the day, you're going to surrender everything. In that way also, you can correct yourself. Thank you, Brother Saira.
Thank you very much, Brother Sai.
Sairam, one more quick question. The Atma Vimarsha, Atma Vishara, and Andar Vimarsha, these three words are interchangeable and the same meaning, or is there any subtle difference among these three different terminologies? Atma Vimarsha, Atma Vishara, Andar Vimarsha. So it could be the same meaning, or in Tamil also sometimes same meaning. We use the three different words, or the many different words. Maybe similarly, this Andar Vimarsha, Swami has already indicated in the second paragraph that this is the inward quest, Andar Vimarsha. And we also just learned Atma Vimarsha, and also previously we learned Atma Vishara. All these are denote the same meaning, or is there any difference?
I think that, there may be subtle differences, sister. Swami, because Swami has used the word vichara. If you go to the previous set of paragraphs, Swami has used the word vichara there. But in this place, Swami has used the word vimarsha. So vimarsha is not only just analyzing, it's also entering into that. Because Swami says, actually in the Telugu version, this is the way Swami said, Atma vimarshanu vakili dwara prati sadhakudu lopala pravisinchuchunu. Swami says the doorstep, the entrance way to our inner quarters, the inner self, is through this gate of Atma Vichara. So it's simply, it's like, you're going to a gate. Only, the gate, maybe like a security guard, the security will inquire whether you are safe to enter, So they will ask a lot of questions. And if you satisfy all these questions, you can enter. Okay, that process, we ourselves have to ask. And when our buddhi is fully clean, then it can enter into that inner self, inner sanctum. So, but Atma Vichara is also used in terms of who am I type of question it's used. But Swami has used the word Vimarsha. I think there is some subtle difference, because it is not only asking the question, it is also a bit more you are searching, you're seeking the answer. So I think that's my understanding, but I will ask others to share their thoughts, please.
Sairam brother, she was talking about Andar Vimarsha as well.
Antar and Atma, I think they are synonymous, my understanding, but anyone else feels other way, please share.
In the last paragraph, the first line is saying, the spiritual aspirant can enter the inner quest, Andar Vimarsha, through the gate of self-examination. Self-examination, of course, that thinking whether analyzing our mind, the very bad or good. So that is the self-examination. So if we when we examine our mind and we remove our bad thinking, bad tendencies, then getting the pure tendencies, we will enter into the inner quest. So under just the Atma, inner quest. So in this paragraph, these two words are clearly distinguished. Self-examination, self-analysis. And inner quest is going inward or going inward, under vimarsha. Yeah.
So that actually Swami has the second last paragraph, the inward quest, there you say antar vimarsha. Swami has used the word antar vimarsha. In the next paragraph, Swami has used the word atma vimarsha munu. So Swami is what they're saying, spiritual aspirant can enter the inner quest. That the inner quest they have translated atma vimarsha, they have translated as inner quest. But Swami used the word atma vimarsha in that paragraph. In the previous paragraph, he has used the word antar vimarsha. So I am saying it is synonymously used by Swami by using two different words. So that's my.
That's good.
I also agree. Yeah, under vimarsha and the atma vimarsha, it should be the same meaning. The atma vishara, in the maybe it could be slightly different. Yeah, I agree with that. The explanation. Thank you, Saira.
And then for antar vimarsha, maybe I'll just read a little bit. Ee buddhini antar vimarshamunu gamaninchu varadharadaga niyaminchunu. Means Swami is saying you have to observe. Okay, the word Swami used is gamaninchu and kavanikka. So Swami wants us to observe the inner world. This is the word which Swami is using. Ni buddhini, your buddhi, antar vimarshanamugu means through that inner quest. Gamaninchu means kavanit means you look at the prapanchamunu. Antar prapanchamunu gamaninchu means observe the inner world using your buddhi is the word Swami is using. So that's why I said it is slightly different from vicharana. Vicharana is sort of evaluating, analyzing. Here Swami is saying observe the inner world. So that means our buddhi should just focus and perceive the Atman. Through that perception, many other things happen. That's why I said there's a slight variation in the vicharana and the vimarsha. Okay, so sorry.
That's good. Thank you.
I don't know if I'm correct in this understanding. If someone can clarify, that would be good. So Swami had said in the first paragraph, like the baby that's lying in the cradle and it's clapping its hand in great glee and joy. That is the inward sight.
Yes.
So I guess if we pass through the gate of Atma Vichara and we get onto that quest of Antar Vimarsha, we should also be similarly in great glee at all times.
Yes. Yes, sister. Yes. There also, if you see, Swami has said the word watches the inner world and claps the hands ceaselessly in great glee. There Swami has explained the last sentence.
Yeah, that's what Kalyani is asking.
Yes, very nice. That is basically Antar Vimarsha. Swami basically explains in other words, but that's exactly the sentence. Just the way a child is so joyous by looking at something, Swami wants us also to be joyous by just looking at the inner world.
So does that mean like we are Satchidananda, being awareness bliss is the same meaning?
Yes, sister.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, in Vedanta, they will say Brahma with Brahmavaya Bhavati. If once you know Brahman, you become Brahma. So the thing is, Brahma with once you know means to know. So through this observing continuously the Atman, we get to know the Atman. And through that process, you become Brahman. You become Satchidananda. You become the truth yourself, and bliss is what you are. Just so our mind and the buddhi all should be so focused on this Atma Tattva. That's meditation. Swami is saying that is the tool for that. Sai. Anyone else can share, Jim? I just said.
You know that paragraph, in the first paragraph, last sentences, similarly the spiritual aspirant also healthy in body, mind, and soul. Soul here is Jivatma, the aspect, the Jivatma aspect. So, body healthy in body, mind, and soul, lying in the cradle of life, watches the inner world. So, inner world is Atma, and claps the hands ceaselessly, gratefully. Yeah. So, even Baba added the soul prior to that. So, soul part, or the Jivatma part, we have to transcend that and go into. So when these all three are healthy, only we could watch the inner world. Healthy body, healthy mind, and soul. So the soul, actually, the soul might be confusing, but we have to take it as the next to Atma, which is the Buddhi. We can, because Buddhi actually represents Buddhi, and the below parts represent the Jivatma aspect, always the image of the Purusha. So we can say it, to avoid confusion, we can say it body, mind, and intellect. So when we are healthy in that, we can watch the inner world, which is Atma. Thank you, Sairam. You can correct it, but that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, Sairam brother, I agree to that one. So body and mind, soul, if they're healthy only, we can concentrate and we can bring the mind and do the meditation. That's the reason we are given 3 tools, that mind, intellect, and the 5 senses. If the mind goes with the 5 senses, you are in trouble. If your intellect goes with the mind, you will go into the right path. So because the intellect will tell you what is right and wrong. Thank you, Brother Sairam.
Sairam, brother, I just wanted to ask a question in this discussion. So once we do the antarvimarshana and self-examination, so gaining the inward vision for meditation, just I'm thinking at this point, what we are
you're saying when we pass through this, we are meditating. We will be in the meditation.
meditation,
So
right?
meditation,
Inward vision is the meditation.
Meditation, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The inward mission is equal to the meditation side. We are coming to that point. Am I correct?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
So Sairam, my understanding also, if your 5 senses not going outwardly, it is going through inwardly, then you will feel the inner peace. So once you feel the inner peace, you are in the meditative state. Thank you, Brother Sairam.
Okay.
We are meditating now, everybody.
We are missing our Guru.
Oh, sorry, I was talking and I didn't realize that I lost everything. So, Swami, you are not missing Swami. So Swami, I will read the Telugu line. It says, Adige, sorry, A Vimarshaku Dhyanamu Tala Vantiti. Swami saying, for this Vimarsha or this quest, Dhyana is like its head. So they have translated as most important, but Swami says, Adu Thalai Pondrathu. In the Vimarshanatthukku, Dhyanam Thalai Pondrathu. Idhan Swami. This is Swami's Telugu. A Vimarshaku Dhyanamu Thala Vantiti. Okay, Swami says. So that is without that head, you can't move. So Dhyana is the one, that instrument, that practice of Dhyana is the head which helps you go there. Means everything. So Dhyana is, without Dhyana, you cannot enter into that inner world.
Atma, yeah, everywhere Baba is saying in this Dhyana Vahini, or do this. If you do meditation, you will get it. If you do meditation, you get it. That's what Bhavan every time saying that. So through meditation only we can go in this inner world, or the underverse, or whatever, the inside Atma. Yeah, actually. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, I think, chapter 6, where they are talking about meditation. So the first sloka in that area, the first sloka is talking about for the purification of the mind. Then the next sloka is taking out meditate on yourself, and meditate on yourself, meditate on your Atma. So the meditation, according to that, even Baba has repeated that I don't know where Baba has repeated. The purification of the mind is one of the meditation is one of the most powerful aid for the purification of the mind. As per Gita, Baba said, but I also checked in the Bhagavad Gita, it is there. So all these, even the meditation purifies us and take us inside, which is our reality. So that's at under, the innermost item. Thank you, Sairam, but that's I observed it. Thank you, sir.
Sairam, brother. So now when you gain inward vision, right, like through antra vimarsana and self-examination only, you can get to that vision. Am I right? That is called meditation. Am I right?
Swami is using the most main tool for that is meditation. Swami says that alone is not antarvimarsha. So Swami is saying that is the most important one. So that means there are other things, I think Swami will talk about it. So okay. So he's telling it is, see, if are you just head alone? No, you are not. Okay, so the same way, it is one of the most thing which we should not neglect. That's the understanding I'm getting, but that is not the same as Atma Vimarsha. It is a bit more than that, is my understanding. Others can share your thought.
Yeah, correct.
So, Sairam, brother, so come to that level, I think you have 10 points there, qualifications of self-realization or meditate on to that one, desire to get free, non-attachment, our senses have been created by God with a tendency to move outward. So man always look outward, not inward. So we have to train that one, and eliminating emotions and the right conduct, and good and pleasant, control the mind, purification of the mind, egoism is dropped, I am the body, necessity of the guru, teacher who has himself got self-realization is absolutely necessary. And lastly, grace of the God and the love. These are the things important. Thank you, Brother Sairam.
Sairam, brother. Thank you. So I think then maybe we will go to the next slide. I mean, it's 4:30, but we can read it at least. And
Chapter 4. Promote the welfare of all beings. The meditator Dhyani considers the realization of Atmic bliss as important, but the promotion of the welfare of the world is also an equally important aim. For carrying out that aim, one must bring certain physical, verbal, and mental tendencies under control. These are usually known as the tenfold sins. The 3 physical, the 4 verbal, and the 3 mental. The physical tendencies are injury to life, adulterous desire, and theft. The verbal sins are false alarms, cruel speech, jealous talk, and lies. The mental attitudes are greed, envy, and denial of God. Eschew the tenfold sins. The person intent on following the path of meditation must take every care that these 10 enemies do not even approach. They have to be eschewed completely. The person needs tendencies that will help progress and not those that drag back. One must speak and act only good, Shubha, for good alone is auspicious, Mangala, and the auspicious alone is Shiva. This is what the scriptures, Shastras also say. The good is the auspicious. The auspicious is the spiritually helpful. The good is the instrument for merging in Shiva.
so Swami, I think as sister asked whether that is meditation, Swami is going on to say other things which are needed. So Swami is talking about at the body level, at the speech level, at the action, what we should avoid. So, he's starting, and he's also saying that, we should look at the welfare of the entire world. Not just, that is also an important. Removing selfishness is one aspect, but also promoting the welfare of the world is also equally important, Swami says. Because just we may be thinking we are just thinking of Swami and we are happy and we are going to ecstasy. Swami says that by alone is not enough, because that's not complete. For that Atma Vimarsha, you also have to cultivate these qualities, Swami says. That's my understanding. So I will stop here, and anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please go ahead.
Brother, so here that the service activities could be, in earlier passages, Bhagawan was saying that when we are successful in meditation, you will go into the world as a resplendent yogi, like that. So, but here, Baba is saying, while you are practicing meditation, parallelly, you have to engage in the welfare of the world. Correct? Please confirm it. Can you please confirm that?
Yes, I think that's you said it nicely, Anna, because one thing is Swami says about the final stage, once you are an accomplished, once you are in Samadhi, you are a Jivan Mukta, you can spread joy just by moving around. But until you get to that point, these are practices to get to that point. Yes, you are. That's my understanding also, but others can share their thoughts.
Yes. So prayer before the meditation, during the meditation period, and after the meditation, all 3 stages, we should be serving the society. Thanks. Thank you.
Sairam, brother. Shall we go through that all the 10 senses that they are talking about here? Physical, verbal, and mental. So physical tendencies, injury to life. That part I didn't understand at all. Thank you, Sai.
See, Swami, the word Swami uses there, they'll read the Telugu and then we can discuss. Swami uses the word pranati panam, panam. Means bringing, harming life, if you want to put it. Harming life. So it can be taking away life, you can be injuring somebody, harming somebody, everything. Another living being is harmed at any level, that is pranati panam. That's my understanding.
Yeah. That's in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, yama, those things are coming there too. No? So injury to life is taking away the life or hurting physically, mentally, intellectually, everything. Injury to life, actually. Yeah.
So, Sairam brother, what is the meaning of false alarm? That means we are talking about something wrong thing or spreading wrong messages, or?
Brother,
Yeah,
we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first one. If everyone is okay, then we'll go to the next one. I think the second one says adulterous desire. It says the words which Swami has used is paradara asakti. That means the paradara means somebody, a woman of somebody else or somebody else's. Asakti means desire for something else. So which actually it's much more than that. Paradhara means whatever somebody else possesses, wanting that is also covered in that. If somebody has something, if we wanting that itself is bad. So you can, so it is dhara means whatever that person possesses. Generally, it is believed as wife. Dhara means okay, but it's more than that. If somebody has something wanting that itself, that's bad thing. Okay, asakti means we should desire, wanting to possess that. That is paradara asakti. Then the third one is dongatanamu. Means Swami says stealing. Stealing is the word. Parigraha is the word which I think Brother Sivadas can talk about. Aparigraha basically it is. Means wanting to take anything, So Swami's meaning of theft is much more than stealing without somebody else knowing. Anything you're taking from somebody else also is falling under that category. This is by the way I look at it, but either way others can discuss that. Let's see if you want to say anything. Okay.
I need some clarification on that. Yeah, on aparigraha. So it means more than just stealing, but what does that mean?
So the thing is, generally we will steal means according to the law, if we go and steal somebody, that is theft. Okay. And there's something called daylight robbery also. Within the legal system also, we can take more than what belongs to us. Okay. We will say it is not illegal, so we can take. Or we'll find a loophole and try to say. That is also stealing from a spiritual perspective. Okay, from a spiritual perspective, if you take anything from the world more than what you need, you have stolen from somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay, if I have taken more than my share, then it is theft. Okay, so the spiritual meaning of theft is much different than legal terms or what the society thinks. Okay, so if I eat more than what I really need, I have stolen. Even that. Okay, so spiritual meaning of theft is much wider. We should say, I should only consume what I really need for my own existence, my own subsistence. Anything beyond that is theft. Because according to God, everything is God has created. Just because somebody else holding it does not belong to them also. So we should understand the spiritual connotation of the word theft. Okay, I will stop here. Others, I hope Kalyani, you're okay.
Yeah, so even like, yeah, I guess examples could be like how, you know, stockpiling things, like for COVID, how people would stockpile things.
Yes. Yeah.
And I guess, can you also extend it to like if you only have 3 people in your family, and like if you get a very large house, that's more than you need?
Yeah, because any of these activities actually creates a instability in the economy in the country. The thing is, if many people do that, then there will be people without land. If it's ultimately just because we have something, and if we can, it may be legal, people may think nothing wrong with it. But from a spiritual perspective, that's why they said, frugality, just take what you want, whatever you do, excess, you distribute to everyone else. That's why Swami promote the welfare of all beings. If you have excess, just distribute, share with the world. So I think those are important. We all have to practice slowly from where we are, but I think we need to know this. Will God be happy if I have all this? That is the question. We are not whether we are happy. We will of course be happy with more and more and more. But will the God be happy? Can we share? I think these are questions which we have to ask, and that's why Swami has created the seva and all that. The concept of seva, food drive, all that is part of that. Sairam.
Sairam. And also Bhagawan has said, I can't exactly say what it is. Bhagawan said that suppose you have certain talents you obtain from your society. And if we are not using that for the welfare of the society, it is a theft. Baba said it in the 36 gems. Baba said 36 gems in his 36th birthday in the Sai Speaks volume. Anybody can refer. On his 36th birthday, he was speaking 36 gems quotations. And one of them is that if we are not making use of your talent to benefit the society, that is a theft. And if we are overestimating and doing it, that is the ego, Baba said. If you think more than, if you have certain limit, but you think that you have more than that, then that is the ego. But if you are not using it, it is theft, Baba said. So, as you said beautifully the other day, the parasite. So we cannot be as a parasite in the society, eating others' things. So that is also coming under theft according to Baba. That's very good. And so better explain that other parts also, brother, because
yes. We can go one.
Yeah.
Then we will go to the.
Start from the beginning.
The first one is, so then the word speech, okay. Asat pralapa mulu means telling lies. Okay, asat pralapa. So Swami used the word pralapa mulu. Means anything, so you create wrong information, spread wrong information, that is asat pralapa mulu. So here I think they have called it false alarms. But the word Swami, as you said, asat means untrue. You just create unnecessary confusion by spreading false information, wrong information, untrue information. That is asat pralapa mulu. Then the second one is parushyam. So they have cruel speech, speaking very harshly, hurting others is parushyam. Means it's one form of verbal violence, you can say, harming others. Okay, so. Then Swami has used the word paishunyamu. I think they have translated the jealous talk, so, you, once jealousy takes over, I will just exactly, unfortunately, Mani Auntie is not here. She would have been a very useful person for this. Swami uses the word paishunyamu.
taking that as a jealous talk, and please go ahead with other one, lies.
Yes.
Okay.
Then Asatyam, Swami here he just tells plain lies, telling lies. Asatyam, untruth. Okay, so then I don't know, Brother Dasan had a question about something.
You answered, brother, the false alarms.
Okay. So then Swami says,
Mental attitudes, greed.
okay. See, Paradana Asakti. Paradana Asakti means Paradana Asakti. Means if somebody else has money, wishing to have that is Asakti means, desire for that, which is basically greed. If somebody else has, we also want it. That Swami is calling it Paradana Asakti. Para means other, Dana wealth, Asakti, desiring what others have. Okay, which is greed. So
Envy.
yes, Asuya. Asuya means Porama in Tamil, jealousy. That is real jealousy, I would say. Or envy. If somebody else has that, we feel bad that that person has it. Okay, that's the Asuya. Sometimes we don't want, even if we don't have, it's okay. Other person should not have. And that I would say is Asuya. That's a mental tendency we have. And then the last one is
God.
Nastikatvam. Nastikatvam means denying God, not believing in God. Nastikatva. Nastikam. Okay. So those are
Thank you so much, Saira.
I think maybe we have come to I think time is up today.
Yeah.
We can close it today. Maybe we'll continue from this point. Yeah. So I just wanted to let you know, next Sunday, being Swami's day before Swami's birthday, we are planning to have a celebration between 3 and 5. Our region will be celebrating Swami's birthday with SSC children and young adults, presentations between 3 and 5 o'clock next Sunday. So we will not be having this study circle next Sunday. Instead, everyone is welcome to or encouraged to join and celebrate the birthday of the region with the children. I think the link for that will be sent out separately. I think it's I think Zoom link, if I am not wrong, but it will come out. Sister Aruna should be able to help out with that.
Yeah, it's going to be a Zoom link we will be sending out.
Okay, thank you very much. So we will not be having this study circle next Sunday, but next Saturday we will be having the study circles, 2 study circles on the 21st. So on 22nd we will not have. Then I just wanted to ask you a question because a couple of months ago people wanted to have a free session, where we ask any question and answers. So we had said the last week of November we will have that. I don't know whether still everyone wants it or we can continue with this study circle. I just wanted your input. If everyone is okay, we will, I don't know. Maybe we'll continue. I don't know, Saira.
No, actually, we can just continue like that. Anytime they can put the question here, okay. Even, yeah. Okay. So if we spend one day and, the unwanted questions, it cannot okay. Be a, yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, let's continue with this one. Okay. Thank you.
It's okay. So the decision is made and we'll continue. Thank you very much. We will close the study circle today with Samastaloka and Shanti. Thank you very much, Sai. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, thank you.